Now, we've been a Hondata dealer for a long time. We've tuned almost everything they offer. And I gotta say, it's still my favorite product by far for tuning. There is nothing better. It's the closest thing to OEM. We're gonna do some before and after testing. So first thing we're gonna do, maybe 2 runs on the dyno to see exactly what it's doing right now. Then we're gonna take it out in the street. We have a draggy. We're gonna plug that in, get some before testing on that, kind of see what the acceleration is. Then put it back on the dyno, load in Hondata's Flash for this car, and then do a custom tune, basically tune it for the best conditions here in Florida. We have 93 octane, of course we're close to sea level, so we'll tune it for those conditions, and then do a before and after on the draggy test, and see exactly what you're gonna get with your Hondata. We're gonna show you how to install it, super simple, and again, doesn't take away from the car. It's not like adding a header or an exhaust or an intake. It's undetectable. If you want to tune it and your other half doesn't want to tune it, the other half doesn't know. It's that good. This is our box from Hondata. It's completely sealed. I just wanted to show you so you didn't think that we're tweaking it. It's 100% stock. We're just going to bring it up to temperature and let's see what the baseline runs are. .212 and 150, that's pretty good. That's on the higher end. I usually see 208, 210. Look at the VTEC. This is what we talked about. The VTEC is such a drastic jump, you don't realize that the power is actually falling off between VTEC. So there's a lot of tuning in here where you'll get the car to feel better. Sometimes these numbers don't explain everything. Just the feel of the car by gaining power through here is what we're looking at. Let's just do another run back to back just to confirm those numbers. So unlock it. So we're going to bring it up to 4th gear, just as we always do with the S2000s. So we'll start our run at about 2000, about there, and we'll start our run. Ready, go. So the next run was within 1 horsepower. It just backs up the number just so we have a good baseline. Torque was almost identical. So let's get the Hondata unpacked, show you what's in it, and then we'll go ahead and show you how to program it, lock it to the laptop, and then lock it to the car. Okay, so this is the Hondata Flash Pro. This is for 2006 and up S2000s. Of course, they have this for Civics as well, but this box is essentially the communication box that is going to be used to talk to the factory ECU. Now it's pretty simple. I'm going to show you, walk you through it just to show you how simple it is. If you know how to use this box, go ahead and skip to the after. This is going to plug into your serial port right here. This other is a USB cable. It's going to plug to your laptop or your PC. First thing you've got to do is register this box. You're going to need to plug this in and you're going to need an internet connection. I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick how to do that. We're going to bring this up to temperature and do our run and see where we are. .217, 153. Let's look at our last run, do a before and after. So I can see right there, we got a lot more power in VTEC. This is the changeover. The VTEC is later, now the VTEC is earlier. This is more power all the way through here. And of course, by letting it rev a little bit further, that's where we're getting most of our additional power. But this, again, is something I want to show you. This is our mid-range. So I'm sure you know how to read a dyno. You've seen enough dyno graphs. But this is obviously RPM going this way. And as you see, it starts to make more power from about 5,600 RPMs, and it carries it. This is a big feel right here. It runs through the RPMs quite a bit quicker. And of course, being able to pull a little bit higher. It's noticeable. And again, this is just a super simple click, drop, gain the power. Let's do another run, back it up, just to make sure everything is the same. All right, ready when you are. Pretty much exactly the same, 217, 153.2. I mean, it couldn't be much closer than that. Okay, so of course, if you want to take it a little further, you can change the intake, change the header, and try those things. For right now, we're going to leave the car just the way it is. I'm going to do a custom tune now. This is obviously our fuel map. You can change ignition timing, and of course, VTEC changeover. We're going to make a custom tune for this car and kind of show you what you can get without changing anything but a custom tune. And again, using the Hondata system, you've almost got infinite possibilities right here. Upload this and see what we get. Again, everything else is remaining 100% stock. There's no changes. Stock, so we're not going to see a ton of power, but we should see a little. Let's get this up to 180 and we'll try it again. A little bit more power, 152 torque. Let's just do a comparison. Should have picked up a little bit of power on the VTEC changeover. See a little bit more power again. Again, that's just without changing anything. Got a little bit more right off here. Before and after what we showed up with and where it is with a custom tune, no other changes. That is significant power all the way through here, all the way across VTEC. Much better graph, and again, really, really simple. Okay, so keep in mind, this is no other changes. This is for the customer that is even afraid of changing an airbox or a filter. Still a pretty good gain with just a simple plug-in and tune. So this is a very similar year car. It was a 2007, belonged to a friend of mine. And again, this is a before and after. You can see the red has the same shape as ours, the low changeover, and then of course the drop before VTEC. This one had a little bit more power. Starting power is almost the same, 216 and 149.9. The only difference on this one is we had a header on it, which we found actually makes a little bit more power down here, and of course a airbox mod, so it made a little bit more up top. But again, drives exactly the same, just as close as a stock S2000. Now this is the same year car. This is a 2006 that we did a small turbo kit on. What I do want to show you is this mid-range here. This is what you feel. Now again, 338 horsepower, but 300 foot-pounds of torque, and all the torque is at 4,500 RPMs. We are double the torque and it's all down low. This thing feels like a V8. I mean, it makes the S2000 transform. Again, tuned with Hondata. Car drives exactly like stock, even with this small turbo kit. All right, so we're gonna run the Draggy app right here, which this guy measures our distance and speed via satellites. Very accurate. So the dyno doesn't tell you everything. It doesn't tell you how the car feels or how it accelerates through the RPM. So this is just so we can kind of back up our test, just so we can show you a before and after. So we're going to be recording it on here. I'll record it on this camera, and we're going to use the point of view camera on the hat at the same time. So I'm using our POV hat. Again, we kind of did a how-to video just to give you some ideas. So if you want to do this, this is how I'm doing it. This is how all the filming is done right now. All right, so we're going to do our base run right here. Let me put the window up.
Base run, we're going to turn the air off too. That's going to take some power.
That's true. So we got everything set on base right now. Yep. All right, so we are in the middle of nowhere uploading the reflash right now. This is what we're doing for science. So We have the draggy set up, we have our phone mount, do the same thing again. It's just going to give us some data and hopefully show us go through the RPM at a different speed. Now, one thing to note, there's two of us in the car. We're not trying to give you a really exciting quarter-mile time or anything. This is just so we can repeat it. If we're both in the car for the first step, both in the car for the reflash, we should see a change in numbers. All right, so we have an upload. I'll try and redo the run that we just had.
Lord, here, ready?
Yep. It definitely felt better with the reflash. You could feel it accelerate better, and the time is definitely better. There's no fudge in this, so we're going to show you exactly what we found. Okay, so with no other changes, just the reflash, you can feel it go through the RPMs much quicker. Of course, having a little bit more power right around the VTEC changeover and being able to rev a little higher puts us in a better point for the next gear change. So even though this isn't quarter-mile stuff, there's two of us in the car, we're not pushing for launches, we're not doing anything too crazy, we're just doing the same run back to back and show you the difference. It does go through the RPM quite a bit quicker, feels a little bit more peppy down low without changing anything else. Everything else feels exactly the same in the car. Drivability hasn't changed, idle, tipping throttle, anything. It's completely stock feeling until you hit full throttle. There is quite a bit more in this. Like I mentioned, a good header we can tune and get a little bit more power down low. Intake, we can make more power up top. There is quite a bit more to be found in this. We're just showing you how easy it is just to buy the Hondata Flash Pro, plug it in and upload, and it gives you a little bit of tinkerability without getting too far into trouble. This is perfect for somebody that isn't a tuner. Don't be intimidated by this. Like I said, if you get too far away, you can always go back to that stock configuration, upload that, and you start from scratch. You're not going to hurt it. You're not going to get too far into trouble. So check it out, the Hondata Reflash. Stick around. I'm going to show you how to load it on the computer and how to put it in the car. And visit Hondata.com and check out Hondata's YouTube channel. They have a lot of good information, a lot of good tutorials, and a lot of help on buying the system and using it.
Torque. What is torque and how is it measured? Torque is measured in typically one of two ways: pound-feet, 45mm radius in the case of a 90mm crankshaft, pushes and turns the crankshaft. So there is our...
So thanks for watching, guys. Stick around for the tutorial. See you in the next videos. Don't forget, enjoy your cars. So the first thing you are going to need to do is download a copy of FlashPro from the Hondata's website. Super easy. So once you get this, it's almost certainly going to ask you to make sure you have the latest version. So you're going to check from either a beta version or a production version. Personally, I always go from the production version. So let's go ahead and get this updated, and I'll show you how to register it. All right, now we have that. You're going to scan through this, accept. Again, if you know how to do this, skip to the next portion where we do the after results. So once it extracts the files, you should be updated and ready to tune. Okay, firmware update next. This only takes a short amount of time. Then you're going to be filling in the registered owner, which essentially would be you. So once you have filled this in, you are registered, you are good to go. So with the key on, you are going to go up to here, up to the online tab. You're going to go here and lock to vehicle. This is going to give you a prompt. I agree. Okay. This will lock to the vehicle. Now this box will only work on your S2000. It's not going to work on your friends, so you can't plug it in and tune multiple vehicles. It doesn't work like that. So now you have to file. You're going to go to new calibration. Now these are the files that is in the box. This is so cool. This is for someone, if you're not into tuning, you don't have a tuner, you're doing this at home, you're doing it in the driveway, you don't need anything special. So the first one here is the factory calibration. If you make changes, if you download the wrong thing and mess around with it, go back to this first one. You can put the factory tune back in. Now there's a few little drop downs here. Of course, you got 06 tuned, you got tuned carb compliant. Now you've got a couple of different intakes. You've got an AM, an engine, you got a Mugen cat back, a Toda header. These are all very good tunes. This isn't something where you're going to put it in and the car's going to run terrible or you're going to hate it. These are all good. The first one I'm going to show you just in stock form. I'm going to go to 06 tuned. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to show you the before and after. So it's super simple. You're going to go to this file right here, click this, press OK. Now this little tab at the top, the little arrow next to the lightning bolt, that is to send the tune to the ECU right here. This is going to take about 90 seconds. Don't change anything. Don't turn the key off. Don't open the door. Don't press the brake pedals. Don't do anything that could change the voltage of the car. You want a nice clean upload. You don't want to interfere with it or move anything or change it. Alright, so now you're going to go ahead. Everything is good. Now what I would do is go up to display and then go to the lightning bolt. This is going to connect to your data logger. This is going to show you the parameters, what the car is doing. So this is the numbers you're going to be looking at. Obviously coolant temperature, intake air temp. This is obviously your RPM, and it's going to show a little bit more data down here. You got the speed and the gear. What we're going to do is bring it up to temperature, bring this back up to about 185, 190 degrees where we started, and then do a run and show you the back-to-back. We've got to get it up to temperature first. So once it's running, you can look at this data. While it's warming up, I'll show you a couple more things. You can go in here to sensors, and this will give you a drop down. If you're looking at data, you want to check a whole bunch of things, you can go through here. There's a lot of information in here. You can custom set up this template the way you want it. You can put whatever you want over here. You can change it. You can make it exactly the way you want. Do another YouTube how to. Go to Hondata site. They show a lot more information on this, a lot of configuration, and of course you can tailor this exactly the way you want it and save it. So we're going to bring this up to temperature and do our run and see where we are. So hopefully you found this interesting and it gave you some ideas of what to expect. Check out Hondata YouTube channel. They have a lot of good tutorials. They show you how to tune. If you have access to a dyno, of course it's much safer. You can make tiny changes. You can see where the car is reacting, if it likes the power, if it doesn't, and it's safer than tuning on the street. So check out Hondata.com and Hondata's YouTube channel. So we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. There is more on the series of the S2000. We're going to go all the way to 400 horsepower while keeping the car in factory form. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.